Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Adriana. This is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer of the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And it looks like you have some work for me to do today. So you're one of my online students, and you've also paid for the additional service to get more specific feedback with your TOEFL speaking and also pronunciation. So it looks like today you have completed a speaking practice test, and you've completed 2 different pronunciation exercises. So first of all, let's get started with your speaking. Now, if I remember correctly, the first one you did, you had a decent organization, but the examples that you used didn't really illustrate the points that you're trying to argue. So I made a suggestion that you can better organize your speech and be very careful and make sure that the examples that you give to help support the argument that you're making, is relevant. It's appropriate. So that's why the TOEFL, it says, uses appropriate, details to help support those generalizations. So that's kind of what I want to take a look at right now. Right, so let's get started. The first time I'll play the speech the whole time, and then the second time I may play it again, pausing here and there to give you some feedback.
From my perspective, the most important characteristics of a good son or daughter are that they are obedient and polite. I'll start by saying that an obedient child is a very important characteristic that a parent requires. For instance, if the parents tell to the child to clean up his or her room, the child will do it immediately. Moreover, when the child gets an assignment at school, he will finish the homework assignment by the next class.
Yes, now you've given 2 examples, both of which help illustrate why obedience is an important characteristic in a son or daughter. Yes, the examples that you're giving here are appropriate and help support the argument you're trying to make.
Additionally, good children are always polite. Case in point, children who are polite will refer to the elders with title of address, such as Mr. or Mrs., and they don't try to refer to people they do not know so well by their familiar name.
Good. So you ran out of time a little bit at the end, but this was much better. It was better in the sense that you have a good organization, you had a good topic statement, you introduced your first point, which is obedient, you went to the second point, which is polite, and you gave appropriate examples to help illustrate those 2 points. So I thought this was a strong speech. You had some minor pronunciation problems, maybe with the word P, like polite, things of that nature. But overall, I thought this was a very organized speech, and you're pretty likely to score close to 26 out of 30 on this one. The only drawback here is your delivery. I think that your grammar, your language use was strong, your topic development was strong, including your organization and your development. So nice work on that. Okay, now we want to take a look at, you're working on, it looks like, some pronunciation exercises, beginning with the S and the Z sounds. So let's take a look at these, and I'm going to go ahead and find these in my book right now so I can help you a little bit here. Okay, so it looks like we're going to be S and Z. Here we go. Okay, so let's see what we have. Maybe I'll put it down here where I can see it. Okay, oh yeah, this is going to work right here. Okay, here we go. So again, I may stop it and start it as we go.
Gasoline leaf blowers, which have a muzzle velocity of 150 miles per hour or more, blow away topsoil and ground cover, which, if left in place, would help soil to hold precious moisture and would minimize the number of times plants have to be watered.
Okay, so I'd like to have you work a little bit more here. So let's work on some words here. So the word muzzle, that's a Z, muzzle. Miles, miles per hour. Topsoil. You need to produce that T and the P, topsoil with more air. The other word is the word moisture. Oi. This is a diphthong, Adriana. The oi, ow, and oi. It's like the OE, oi. So then we have moisture. Would minimize the number of times plants have to be watered.
If the wire is bent into a coil called a solenoid, the magnetic fields of the individual loops combine to produce a strong field through the core of the coil.
Okay, let's take a look at a couple of these. Produce, not produce, it's produce, produce. And also the word you have through. It's that R. The R is tough for you. Ooh, through. And then you have the core of the coil. So this type of English, I'm finding out, this one is tough for you. So this is more of a type of reading passage you might find in a physics class. So this is unfamiliar vocabulary for you. So you're probably learning a lot of new words. And when you see these words, you're not sure how to pronounce them.
Another relationship between electricity and magnetism is that a regularly changing electric current is a conductor will create a changing magnetic field in the space about the conductor, which in turn give rise to a changing electrical field.
Don't forget the word gives rise. So there's kind of a Z. Now I know we don't really pause. It's gives rise. It's not gives rise. But your pausing was actually pretty good. But the word electricity. Not electricity. It's electricity. So that was a little bit hard for you. Magnetism is.
In this way, regularly.
It's not this, it's this. This. So that's tough for you. Remember the e. How about bit, beat, meet.
Oscillating electric and magnetic fields can generate each other. These fields can be visualized as a single wave that is propagating through space.
Not bad. Good job on the space. You carried the vowel sound out longer because it's a long vowel. Space.
Associative learning involves the association of time sequences, an example of which is classical conditioning.
Do you notice that there? So an example which refers to, it involves the association of time sequences, the example of the association, so which refers back to association. So instead of using two shorter sentences repeating the word association, the writer has said in the second part of the sentence, an example of which is. That's good writing and also good speaking. But pretty good there. No major problems. All right, let's do them together now. I want you to read them with me now. Gasoline leaf blowers, which have a muzzle velocity of 150 miles per hour or more, blow away topsoil and ground cover which, if left in place, would help soil to hold precious moisture and would minimize the number of times plants have to be watered. All right, let's take a look at number 2. If a wire is bent into a coil called a solenoid, The magnetic fields of the individual loops combine to produce a strong field through the core of the coil. 3. Another relationship between electricity and magnetism is that a regularly changing electric current in a conductor will create a changing magnetic field in the space about the conductor, which in turn gives rise to a changing electrical field. Number 4. In this way, regularly oscillating electric and magnetic fields can generate each other. These fields can be visualized as a single wave that is propagating through space. Number 5. Associative learning involves the association of time sequences, an example of which is classical conditioning.
Technology has been around much longer than science. In ancient times, people brought about chemical changes without knowing the scientific principles involved.
But the word's not it's principles. Principles.
For example, they use fire to cook, bake, and melt.
But the word not cook, it's cook, book. How about book, book? Cook, kook. A little bit different, so you are having some problems with that word there. To cook, bake, and melt.
To produce metals. They also used fermentation to make beer and used plants to produce dyes and medicines.
And try the word dyes. Okay, let's read this one again. Technology has been around much longer than science. In ancient times, people brought about chemical changes without knowing the scientific principles involved. For example, they used fire to cook, bake, and melt ores to produce metals. They also used fermentation to make beer and used plants to produce dyes and medicines. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one. So now you're getting into, it looks like, these syllabic consonants, if I remember correctly. So let me go to this exercise, and I'll work with you a little bit here. Now, if anybody's watching this, and you might be wondering what I'm doing here, the main thing is, it's important to be able to speak about academic type topics. So Adriana is working on my Speak Clearly part of my online course, and she's going through all of the pronunciation exercises, and a lot of my sentence and paragraph readings and such, they focus on a lot of different academic disciplines. They can focus on anything from physics to biology to astronomy to literature to physical science or whatever. Okay, I think I have it. So let's go ahead and listen to this one. So it's the O-er. O-er. This is a tough one too.
Is there anyone ever able to find ample silver in the soil in the desert outside of Oceanside?
Not bad on your tone, so ample, all. Ample silver, ample soil.
A civil worker.
But here, not civil, it's civil. A civil worker. Civil. A civil worker.
A simple servant either to the direct public or to an organization which provides a service to the public.
Okay, that's pretty good. Except for the word a civil worker.
The armies settled for the capture of the city during a dangerous battle of April 1762.
So April 1762, I'm not sure that you said that number clearly. Let me go back a little bit.
Of April 1762.
Okay, be careful. The stress with numbers. Numbers a teen, the stress is on the... It's 1762. If you say 70, 7D, it almost sounds like you're saying 70, but 1762. So listen to that one more time.
Of April 1762.
So just 17. How about this? Repeat these after me. 1330, 1440, 1550, 1660, 1770, 1880, 1990.
The singer had trouble
But really, not really singer. Most of the time when we have the N and the G together, we pronounce it as a sing, singer, singer. There's really no G there. Listen to what you said there.
1762. The singer had trouble performing during the concert because of the burning building 2 blocks down from the venue.
That was a little bit tough on your pausing there, but burning, burning.
Which made authorities consider canceling the show altogether. Another example where crime has gone awry, Bakersfield decided to hire more police officers so that the town will resemble the way it used to be 50 years ago, quiet and safe.
Okay, there. That was a little bit tough for you, too. In the beginning, we're using what's called an appositive. The appositive is a noun phrase used to modify another noun phrase. So when you're using the appositive and you introduce it, the tone needs to rise at the end of the appositive, and then we know you're getting ready to introduce the independent clause. It'd be something like this. Another example where crime has gone awry, Bakersfield decided to hire more police officers. You see what I'm saying? So right when you get to the word awry, the tone needs to rise a little bit. Okay, let's work on these together now. Number 1, repeat these after me. Is there anyone able to find ample silver in the soil in the desert outside of Oceanside? Number 2, a civil worker is a simple servant either to the direct public or to an organization which provides a service to the public. So that's my mistake. We see the word a, it should be an organization because we use an before nouns which have consonant sounds at the beginning of those words, and we use a when we have nouns which begin with, actually I'm getting it back here, we use an when the first sound of the noun which comes after it is a vowel, and then we use the other one when the first sound is actually a consonant. Okay, 3. The army settled for the capture of the city during a dangerous battle of April 1762. Number 4. The singer had trouble performing during the concert because of the burning building 2 blocks down from the venue, which made authorities consider canceling the show altogether. 5. Another example where crime has gone awry, Bakersfield decided to hire more police officers so that the town will resemble the way it used to be 50 years ago, quiet and safe.
Although fires are thought to be destructive and dangerous, many plants such as scrub, marshes, and pine flatwoods depend on fire in order to survive. Fires help habitats and are important to endangered species of animals that rely on these plants for survival.
Your pacing is pretty good there. I like your sentence rhythm and also your grouping. You're not pausing after each word. That's good. You're trying to group your words together into certain thought groups.
Fire management companies suppress fires and use prescribed burning, controlled fire in a confined area, so that the habits which need fire can have survival, while the general public and industry can remain stable.
Okay, let's take a look at this word, controlled. So it's the one thing that's tough for you is when you have a consonant cluster involving the word R. For example, controlled, dream, tree, dream, control. So you're still working a little bit on the R sound. You're still working on the it versus e. E. So those sounds are still a little bit tough for you. And remember, the idea of singing is actually a good idea where you can work on your pronunciation a little bit more. So when you get a chance, go to YouTube and find a song that has the words in the video and sing with the video. What you might want to do is listen to the song one time and watch and read the words of the song so you can understand it. Then the second time you can read with the singer. Okay, let's go together now. Let's take a look at the paragraph. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Although fires are thought to be destructive and dangerous, many plants, such as scrub, marshes, and pine flatwoods, depend on fire in order to survive. Fires help habitats and are important to endangered species of animals that rely on these plants for survival. Fire management companies suppress fires and use prescribed burning, controlled fire in a confined area, so that the habitats which need fire can have survival, while the general public and industry can remain stable. All right, so there you go, Adriana. So during this particular pronunciation and speaking session, you completed a speaking practice test. You made some changes in the one that you did before. This time, you added the appropriate detail that helped defend the argument you're trying to make. And then secondly, you worked on some pronunciation exercises, reading some sentences and some paragraphs, and then getting a little bit of feedback from me. And I gave you the suggestion of listening to some music at YouTube and practice singing with the singer.